We don't have a film industry in Botswana. What we have people who are trained, who can work, people who have the ability to contribute to the establishment of a film industry in Botswana. For us to have a film industry, it means that um, there should be systems in place that are working for us to call it a film industry.
The film industry in Botswana. As much as we do have a bit of a film industry, the most of it is non-existent, or the part where you would want to say Botswana has a film industry, it really isn't there. For major productions to be made in Botswana and financed in Botswana, it's usually through the tender procurement program, and that's very limiting itself, because you find that there are so many studio companies or film production companies, and all of them want to get to that tender or get that bit of money from the tender. We found that in an instance maybe they put out 30 million for to get programs from creators in Botswana or people in our film industry, Botswana and our film industry. What you find is that you would have maybe 100 companies all trying to get a piece of that 30 million, and in the end, there are only going to be 10 of them chosen. So we don't have a film industry in the sense that you can't really go out and make your own film on your own back. It's very limiting for you to just go out and say, I want to make a film on my own, or I want to make a film with my friends, not having to go through the tender procurement program. I feel like we should have other means of making finances or other means of financing our projects, not just going through the government's tender procurement. Our government should help us as filmmakers or creatives finance our programs, not necessarily by giving us money, but by putting laws in place that help us as the creators. For an example, what's happening in South Africa is you find that for every major company or brand or whatever that comes into South Africa to sell products, be it your Pep store, be it your Pick and Pay, they can't get models from outside of the country, or they don't use ads that come from outside of the country. Let's see, a brand like Nando's is worldwide. Instead of Nando's coming into Botswana and then sourcing their adverts from South Africa or from America and reusing those adverts, they don't use that in South Africa. For a company to come into South Africa, they have to make ads that are made by South Africans for South Africans. So if we had that in Botswana, let's say we have a store like the Pep store, for an example. If Pep is to come this side and create ads, they wouldn't take the ads that are from South African filmmakers. They have to source us, Botswana, to make their ads for them, so that we keep the circle of revenue going, so that the revenue isn't just in one place. Because you find that for an ad like that, if Pep maybe pays for an ad in South Africa, and then it also gets played the side, we as Botswana don't benefit from it. Maybe the networks profit because they have to be paid for that, but as the creators, we don't get finance, we don't get any financing. We have to then wait for the tender procurement to then get financed. So I believe the government should put measures in place where for a company to sell its product to us by branding, the branding has to be made by Botswana for Botswana using Botswana models. Here and there, yes, we may use international people, but not everything should be international where they just source it from South Africa and just give it to us like that. Botswana does need a film commission. I believe we do need a film commission. Looking at the fact that the film commission would encourage division of labor, where when a company does get something, like when they do win the tender procurement item or the tender, I'm not sure what it's called, but if they do win a tender and they do tender for a show, instead of just that film company with three workers or three individuals, all of them being the lighting operators, being the directors, the producers, being the camera crew, being the editors. If we had a film commission in place, we would have division of labor in the sense that the money gets divided within the money gets divided um, the money gets divided by a wider range of people. It's not just going to be those 3 people. Because what you find happening now, and I know for a fact that some companies out there, they would win a tender. They're given 3 million by the government. They're given 4 million by the government going forward. You find that it's just 4 or 5 individuals in that company. And those 5 individuals are going to be the camera operators. They're going to do the lighting. They're going to also be the actors. It's just going to be those 5 people. So nobody ever really benefits from that apart from those 5 people. If we had a film commission, we would have things like division of labor, like I said before, where more people benefit from the production, where ideas are widely spread, and it's not just shared between those few people. Once you have a bigger team, you have more ideas, you better the industry going forward. And once our industry gets better and better, the more we can make more revenue from film, and then we don't have to just focus on our government to source funds from. We can start getting funds from outside, where we have the Netflixes, they might buy into our products. But right now, we don't have Netflix trying to procure products, because you find that once you win a tender, when BTV gets that program, maybe you're not even allowed to sell it to other people. It's their content. I'm not 100% sure on that one, but you find out that you can't really sell it to anybody else, because all the finances you got were from them, so they feel like they own that. And them owning that, they're going to air it once, and then a few repeats, and then after that it's stopped. It never goes online. You can never find replays. When you try to go to them to get a show, maybe to do highlights for the YouTubes, they do not give you the shows. You go through so much red tape. And the film commission would be also very important, looking at the red tape issue, where you know where to go for what. Instead of when you want to get a license for something, you have to go to this ministry. When you want to get a license to film here, they tell you, no, you don't come to us, you go there. When you want to film this part, you were to get a drone license, you go. So if we had a film commission, everything related to film would be in one place. It would be maybe sort of a ministry that's centered around film, where you go to just one place for film. You know, if I'm going to shoot in Kasani, I go to our film commission is there. All the licenses are there. All the people I need to talk to are there. I won't have to go through the councils to get letters from the Khosi, from those villages, to get permission from every single little person. The film commission was there. You talk to them.
The film industry of Botswana is not well recognized, because so far mo Botswana, I don't think gona le yone film industry. Ke di production house hela tse di small, so I don't think there's a film industry in Botswana. Se se irang gore be go sena that film industry is because the film producers and film production companies di ikemetse ka bonosi, ga gona cooperation, they don't collaborate. And also gona le kgang ya gore ha o kopa thuso, the film industry e fall under the arts, gone go Ministry of Youth. So arts e broad, ha ne le gore gona le this agency hela e leng gore e lebagane le yone di film, I think nka be gongwe industry ya rona e setse e godile. Gape go na le kgang ya gore ha o studies o dira yone film, batho ba go botsa gore wa go filma kae. Ke mongwe wa batho ba leng gore ke lekile go Ministry of Youth ke kopa thuso, e be ba bua ba mbotsa gore ile gore ha o thusa yone course ya bo film, wa go filma eng mo Botswana hela, wa go boelwa ke. So film industry ya Botswana e poor because tota la so santa high, an industry have to produce something and generate income. But mo Botswana, I don't think film industry ira mo go kalokalo, because ha gona madi a ileng gore it doesn't boost the country's economy. Gape most of film students are unemployed. So I think if ne gona le yone film body, things could be better. I think a film commission will work in Botswana. It will improve the film industry, because eta be laola gore our actors di ka duela bokahe, and the film graduates will have employment. Gape I think the film industry of Botswana will grow, because a gerta be gona le yone film commission e sa thole le gore our film industry governor ke di arts ya ka go iragala gompieno, kana film industry ya Botswana e fala under arts. So if there is that film commission, sengwe le sengwe sa go siama because e tla be e governor the film industry hela e le nosi.
It is difficult to stay connected when you're not in the city. You miss out on a lot, like family, friends, and business. But you can be this guy who made the right choice by upgrading to the all-new BTC 4G SIM card that allows him to stay connected on his 4G capable device everywhere he goes. BTC, live connected.
Well, it's easy to point fingers and say association it's failing. If it fails, it's because we are failing. So it's good that it is there. For its strength and weakness is a reflection of us. So and the people who are there, they have to be supported by all of us. So if it has weaknesses, it's our weaknesses. If it has strength, it's our strength. And I think for quite a long time, initially when we started out many years ago, we had so many associations. At least now it's one. Then we have to find how can we assist those who are in to really push for the things that we want to see. And I know sometimes we get angry, this one leaves, sometimes there are personality clashes. There comes a point when you have to say, you know what, forget about all our differences and say, work towards the collective good. And the collective good is that we have to figure out a way to make sure that we know what's at stake. We know better than everyone what is at stake. And so at this point in time, we have to, the finger pointing has to end. And we have to start saying, if we really know what is needed, then we have to stop that and just do the right thing. The Film Commission is long overdue, and then that will lead to also having a film office, Botswana Film Office, that dictates as to how everything functions. And we have to figure out how also the people we position in those and help them, groom them, people who love film, but not necessarily those of us who are practicing filmmakers. Because sometimes it can be difficult because I am a film producer and then I want to be in the board, the inside, the part of the people running the film commission, and at the same time I want to do so. We have to find people who are highly skilled, that are interested, but that are not necessarily hands-on filmmakers. Because if you do that, we have people who have the love for film, but they're not necessarily the ones who are doing it. And those people, I think they'll be better placed to help run, and then we continuously feed them and give them information. For example, we don't have anyone who's specializing in entertainment law. So, but what we do, the lawyers, they know the law, then they can study what the entertainment lawyers in other countries are doing, and they said, oh, okay, in this case, this is how we help the artist in Botswana. The same way with people who are going to run the film commission. We have other people who are doing it in other countries. They can learn from them, and we can help them by showing them this is what we need, this is what is lacking in the country, this is how the best film commissions in other countries work, and this is how we need to benchmark on the best people from around the world, and do away with how usually the people are appointed in this country, and for the first time try and forget about mediocrity that is in line with the political system, but then go really, because this is long overdue for people with really who are really smart and they know what they are doing, and to run the film commission. So we have to think it along those lines and really put the right people, the people who support filmmakers and other people associated with film, filmmaking, so that we can take our industry, we can build our industry, because it's there. We have people running tech shops. I have my own little tech shop here called Abi Film. Somebody has their own tech shop there and stuff like that. Now, those tech shops will build into something, into a proper production offices that fits into what is going to be built as Botswana functioning film industry. But for now, we found that I've been doing this for more than 20 years. But what's the difference between me and somebody who's just finishing from school? Because there's no industry, we are all beginners. So we ought to have a film industry so that people like myself and others like me can properly mentor the young filmmakers and show them the way. But if not, if we don't establish a film industry, we'll be all of us be beginners till the day we all die, and that would be so sad. Botswana is said to be a middle-income country. For a long time, we lied to people that we are the gem of Africa. We are not, because there's no pride. We have to have, for this country to really develop, we have to be proud. And the leaders have to be proud and put Botswana first, not themselves, Botswana first, and say, I'm a proud citizen of this country. I'm going to look for all the intelligent people and empower them and make sure that they do things right. There's so many brilliant people who can help. We have brilliant writers, we have brilliant musicians, we have brilliant directors, but there's no system and there's no support system that can, we need the support system that can carry us forward. And the starting point is us caring about who we are and those around us. And so before we do that, then we are just we are rendering all ourselves irrelevant. So if we don't do that, then we might as well just tell the Lord to take us and put ourselves 6 feet under. Number one, Ladies Detective Agency, from my point of view, had so many Botswana in all departments. So the question is, what would have happened if there was a proper film industry and the Botswana Film Office and everything? What happens after it? So, we can't expect the producers of number one Ladies Detective Agency to do everything for us. For they did their part. We have to, as a nation, we have to do our part. And it's easy to blame and say everything and everyone who's coming from outside is wrong. And, there's no nation which has been spoon-fed and say, come here, this is food, eat, 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 eat. It can't happen that way. You have to say, this is what I want, this is my place, and things like that. So number one Ladies Detective Agency had, and I was part of it. I did the behind the scenes, and there's a guy called, I did behind the scenes. There were people in every department. Production manager was Indipo Mokoka. Solomon Munyame was dealing with music. Pascal Proctor was dealing with the actors. The producer of the Zone was in art direction. So there was each and every department. There's no department that didn't have a Botswana. So in that production, number Ladies Detective, there were people. But the question is, what happened after they left? We should have taken it as a nation, taken a step further. Yes, other films that have come because, like I mentioned before, there's no system in place that dictates how they should work with the locals. So then they did what they did. But the other products that happened, like United Kingdom, yes, there were Botswana involved in there. but I don't know to what extent, because I was not part of the United Kingdom. There are also many productions in the tourism sector that I've never been part of. That's not where my interest base is, so I don't know. But there's nothing dictating as to how they should work, because first, there's no industry to speak of. There's no commission. There are no Botswana Film Office, so the Botswana Film Association is not empowered enough to dictate terms. So yes, so the establishment of Botswana Film Commission and Botswana Film Office is needed, so that they can be there can be system in place that can dictate terms as to how productions that come to Botswana function with the local producers, and then we can dictate terms as to what they should contribute to our industry. Before then, nyatla we le go ga mapereko hela go iperekola ka mongwe le mongwe a rata re nna ra solhela gore batho ba tlang tla ba le ba lorato ba tla re tsholela. To think like that as a nation is absolutely wrong. First, there has to be a film industry. It is not there. So the individuals, reiterate what I said before, the individuals that are there, all of us, me included, we have to continue the fight that we are fighting, and make sure, have our timelines and say, on this day, there has to be this. And there has to be a continuous plan. And we have to lobby right. We have to learn how to lobby. Within our system, we need to, I think part of the problem is that we, sometimes as filmmakers, we that's why I say we must lobby. We fight alone. So we have to understand, shouting and all these things doesn't take us anywhere. We can shout, it's good if there are other things in place. But we need to recruit people, legal minds, to come and join us, so that, because it's all about the law, and say, okay, what did we do? And have follow-throughs, follow up. What happened in 1988? What happened in 2008? What is happening now? Just a few months back, Minister Olopeng was talking about the Film Commission and establishment of Botswana Film Office, and everything was geared. Now he's out. It's now Minister Tsekedi, and he's also talking about things he's talking about. You see, he needs to get the files that Olopeng prepared, and Olopeng ought to have taken the files that the ministers before him prepared, so that there's a continuous. It's been actually one party. It's not like the government changed. It's been one party for 52 years. And it's a one house. They should know what has been said. And even the act that is the Botswana Cinematography Act of 1977, it's not ours. We inherited it from the colonial masters. It should be scrapped and then see what it is that rona re le Batswana se re sirileng re se dumalaneng a bo se diriwe. Ha ra tshwana re ga go tsena motho mongwe ba re okay ya no ke tsile a re simolleng ke tle go bankanya dilo nne ntse gona le tse dingwe tse nentse di bankangwe a re simolle ka tsona. Until we do that, ra go tsawa ya ka bananyana tsatsi le letsatsi go bula le bate okay ra simolola ka moso go bula le bate o sele ra simolola ka moso go bula o mongwe ra simolola. We have to stop all that. We have to stop that. Leave that door open. Leave that door open and say sengwe le sengwe se se buileng before wena o bula le batile a se dirwe, because hands out la ke tere re tshameka diketo ra keta hela ha gona mosola. So ra gola go santse go supe ra gola re dire so se senang le boeleng, re kwale dipolelo tsa lehatshe la rona, re supe lorato le leng re na le lone, harness it, exploit it, and show the world who we are as Botswana, and stop just being known to be, oh, we are this nice, beautiful little peaceful country. We must also influence something around the world. We must contribute in the direction as to where people are going in the world. We can't always be as Botswana spectators around the world. We must also be game changers. We must also be influencers. We've got a lot of talent for us to just sit on the sidelines like spectators. We shouldn't be. Re na le boleng a boleng jo bo bonale boitshupe re supe gore ra ithata re le se go batla gore dipolelo tsa rona re ne re go bolela batho ba bolela gore re bomang re na le molomo re na le dikakanyo re na le dikeletso re na le lerato ha ile gore re ntse yalo re batho ba ntseng yalo ba bopilweng sentle re tshwanetse ra ba rata gore re bolelle batho gore rona re bomang e seng gore re tla kgona go bolela batho gore ke mang a re le se go inyatsa.